Yeah, myself Dr.K Viswanath Allamraju, Department of Mechanical Engineering, Institute of Aeronautical Engineering, Dundigal, Hyderabad. Today I'm going to give a topic on mechanics of materials from the subject of materials and mechanics of solids. It comes under module 4. We are going to discuss introduction of shear force and bending moment diagrams. What is shear force? Especially, what is shear force? The shear force is nothing but when the force acts parallel to the cross section of the body, then it is called a shear force. What is normal force? The normal force is always acts normal to the cross section of the body. Now in this lecture we are going to study introduction of types of beams. Okay, let us see what are the types of beams. So here there are different types of beams are there. What are the types of beams? The types of beams are cantilever beam and cantilever beam. Next one is simply supported beam, and third one is overhanging beam, and finally fourth one is fixed beam. So here each beam is being supported by different supports. What are they? There are different supports are there. The supports are number 1 fixed support, number 2 roller support, and number 3 pinned support. So fixed, what is the first of all fixed support? Here the fixed support consists of, for this cantilever beam, this is a cantilever beam. When the beam consists of fixed support, what happen? How many reactions will be obtained? This is the vertical reaction, and it is a horizontal reaction. Another one is moment reaction. So there are 3 reactions will be acted for a beam which is subjected to fixed. Which is subjected to a fixed beam consists of acts. How many reactions? There are 3 reactions. Now coming to pinned support. This pinned support, another name is called knife edge support. Knife edge support. Yeah, this pinned support, when the pinned support, another name is called knife edge support. We can see it. It is like a knife edge. This is the knife edge support. This knife edge support means how many reactions will be acted. So here only one reaction. But when the pin is going beyond off of the beam, then it is called a hinge support. The hinge support, suppose if there is a beam, this is the hinge. The hinge support consists of 2 reactions. Number 1 vertical reaction and number 2 horizontal reaction. This RH is horizontal reaction, RV is the vertical reaction. But when there is knife edge support is there, knife edge support means it is only edge, that's point contact. In the language of kinematics machines, there are 2 types of contacts. One is point contact, another one is line contact. Point contact or line contact, third one is called surface contact. Now this point contact, only one reaction will be acted for the case of knife edge support. Here pinned support, if we edge extended in the middle, if they extended in the middle of the beam, then it is known as, what is that, hinge support. Hinge support consists of 2 reactions. When the hinge support is there, or when we are giving hinge support for any beam, there are 2 reactions will be acted in that beam. That is, one is horizontal, another one is vertical. Whether it depends upon the load when we are acting on the beam, whether it is upward direction or downward direction. This direction of the reactions depends upon the type of load which is being acted on your beam. Next, there is roller support. This roller support consists of, there are 2 rollers. Yes, you can see it here, symbolic presentation. There are 2 rollers are there. That's why we can easily identify by this symbol. That's why it is called horizontal. When there is vertical, slider vertical, there is the vertical slider. There are 2 rollers are here. It's a triangle supported by. Okay. So it will be consists of only one reaction. If the horizontal support is there, slider vertically, then horizontal reaction. If the slider is horizontally, how can we know slider is horizontally? When we give this horizontal support or a slider to a beam, the beam having a tendency to move horizontal direction, then we call it as a horizontal slider. That's why for a horizontal slider, the horizontal slider supports by a horizontal surface. What about reaction? The reaction acts vertically upwards. That's why we can see it here. The reaction is vertically upwards. Now, for a beam is having, if there is a smooth surface there, how can for a smooth surface this reaction will be taken place? We can see in this figure, for a smooth surface contact, yes, the normal to the surface, normal to the contact, this reaction will be acted on the body, on the beam. Suppose if the simply supported beam is being acted by, if the simply supported beam is supported by, one is hinge support, another one is knife edge support. This is the knife edge. How many reactions will be taken place on that beam? Okay, how many reactions we can understand? So there are two reactions for a hinge support. One is horizontally, vertically upwards. Another one is horizontally. Another one is for a knife edge support. There is one reaction that is vertically upwards. So how many reactions are there for this? So here this beam is, load is being acted vertically downwards. So the reaction will be vertically upwards and horizontal. Now this is horizontal at point 1 and point 2. This is RV1 vertically and RH1 reaction. At point 2, what is vertical reaction? RV2. There are three reactions we have to calculate in order to draw the SFD shear force diagram and bending moment diagram. What is this shear force diagram? We are going to draw the shear forces in the form of diagram based on the constraints, by considering the different boundary conditions, and that diagram is called shear force diagram. So what is the use of this shear force diagram is, by using the shear force diagram, we can understand the shear forces at different points of cross section, provided when the load is acting. Different types of loads will be there, which we are going to study the types of loads in the coming sessions. Yes, let us see. Here in this picture you can understand, for better understanding, what is this fixed beam, how the fixed support will be taken place in the practical field applications. Here we can see it is the concrete beam. This is the fixed support. We can see it. This is the fixed support. These are the fixed support. This fixed support will be, how we are going to fix it? With the nut and bolt. With the nuts and bolt, we are going to fix fixed support on the wall. Next, this is another example for hinge support of a Sydney Harbour Bridge. See, hinge support of a Sydney Harbour Bridge, we can see it here. Hinge support. This is the hinge support portion. Here, how it is supported by the Sydney Harbour Bridge. The next example is that this is example for rockers support in a structure. Why it is, what is the name of this rocker support is? The rocker support means it can rock. That means there is a tendency to oscillate. Then it is the rocker support. But what is the contact here? The contact is a point contact. It is not surface contact. Next, if you want to see the application of simply supported beam in a structure, this is the Hyderabad Metro railway station, how they are going to support beams with the help of simply supports. These are the simple support. This is a pre-stressed beam supported by 2 points here. This is the simply support. The next example is, we can see it hinged arch with internal hinge support. There is the hinged arch is there with internal hinge support. This is the internal hinge supports. It is supported. We can see here in this figure for better understanding what is the hinged support. Next, this is the topic 1 is completed. Next, coming to the topic 2, what is the types of beams? So as we have discussed it in types of beams, there are various types of beams, but according to in our syllabus, we have cantilever beam, simply supported beam, overhanging beam, and fixed beam. So let us see what is simply supported beam is. A simply supported beam is freely on the walls or columns, and at both ends it will be supported. So what type of supports you may call it? Here only one reaction is being acted in this figure. That means there is either knife edge support or roller support. But if there are two reactions, we can understand by observing the reactions, that means it is a hinged support. So here in this case, simply supported means where the beam is supported, there is no extension of the beam after the support. That's why that is the meaning. So here there are two supports are there on the beam. Exactly, there is no gap. If there is extension, either left side or right side or both sides, there is extension of beams are there, but supports are below the extensions, then that type of beam is called overhanging beam. It can become left side projection or either right side projection or left side projection, or both the sides projections are there. In this case, in these figures, we are going to show you types of beams with either roller edge support or knife edge support. Suppose we can understand, we may get doubt about it can become more than two reactions also. No, if the reactions are more than two, then it comes under fixed support. When there is a fixed support, either left hand or right hand, then it is called cantilever beam. Here you can see it. In this case of cantilever beam, one end is fixed, another end is free. Here it is left end is fixed and right end is free. But you can make it cantilever beam if it is left hand is free and right hand is fixed, then it is called also cantilever beam. If both ends are fixed, then it is called as fixed beam. So this is the beam, that beam is called fixed beam. So how many reactions will be acted in the case of cantilever beam and the case of fixed beam? In the case of fixed beam, depends upon the load. There are types of loads are there. It comes under another topic. But here, how many reactions are going to be acted here? That is, one is vertical reaction, another one is a horizontal reaction, third one is called momentum reaction. Next, similarly, here also RV and H, horizontal reaction, and another one is momentum reaction. There are 6 reactions we have to find out in the case of fixed beam. How it is possible, how to find out those reactions, unknown values, with the help of equilibrium equations. There are 2 equilibrium equations, 3 equilibrium equations based on the fundamentals of engineering mechanics. What are they? That is, number 1, algebraic sum of all horizontal forces equal to 0. Number 2, algebraic sum of all vertical forces equal to 0. And number 3, algebraic sum of all moments is equal to 0. Those are the 3 equations. By using these 3 equations, 3 unknowns can be found. Thank you for today's session.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.